friends know you as, and
Yeah.
Bert McCracken is the singer, the Used.
Yeah,
and that's why you
Unhinged.
chose this, right?
Yeah. Robbie is, I can switch back and forth pretty easy, though.
Because I know a couple of the songs, one of them, I forget which one it is, but was written originally going to be a Used song and then came to this record. Or no, it was going to be for this record, and you put it on the Used album.
I Hate Everybody went on, I think it went on Toxic Positivity.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's because it just did not feel
It was
like
a little too heavy.
It was more of a Bert song, not a Rob song.
Exactly.
Right.
We wanted to keep it light, keep it poppy.
When you started writing this, were you just completely enveloping yourself into pop music and seeing what I like, what I don't like, or did you already have a game plan for this record?
We already had a game plan. I think like you said, Backstreet Boys. We went into the studio thinking like, what kind of song do we want to make today?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to make an NSYNC song. Let's try to make a Lil Nas X song.
Uh-huh.
Let's try to make a Mariah Carey jam, whatever it was. So
It had to be. I just think when you're such known as like this badass, also wild rock star with the drinking problems and everything else like that at the time, even though you were sober now for a while.
Yeah.
But getting into that pop headspace and knowing your fans were going to get this record with no real warning about it, I just had to. That has to be very vulnerable.
it is, yeah, very vulnerable. It's nerve-wracking. But I think putting anything out there, I always open up my heart to the music. I always let my full self be in it. I always put like everything that I have into the lyrics. So everything I put out is terrifying.
My two favorite songs, Wake Up Call and then Just a Little Bit, which I think was the first single. Right. I just found myself going back to those two.
Nice.
It's an enjoyable record. And it'd be funny, like, imagine it blows up to the point where you're going on tour with pop bands. Is that something you even thought about? Because you did I think while we're taping this, you got 2 shows left.
One show left in Jersey, yeah.
And you did a 5-show run as this. Was there any Used songs in this, or just this?
Yeah, we played Taste of Ink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, had to do one.
We had to do one, yeah.
But what was the reception like?
It's been cool, man. It's been like touring back in early 2000s. 150, 200 kids, all dancing, feeling free, like they're in their own little world, like they're in their living room dancing, singing loud. It's been cool that the record just came out and a lot of people singing every word. So,
have you met fans that don't know the Used?
Not yet.
No, because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to be a cool moment for you. They're like, oh, you were in a rock band at some point? Like, that's cute, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Because you use the name Robbie the Used, which I guess kind of lets people know that. Was there ever a thought to not brand it as because it's like co-branded in a way with the band?
The Used is my life. You know what I mean? So to keep that kind of close to me, yeah, that was always the plan.
Right. It's a fun record. I got to say, it is definitely a fun record. How much of it are you doing live?
The whole thing.
The whole album?
Yeah.
That's great. And then
Just front to back.
straight through.
Straight through.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And you chose 5 cities. That's it? Nothing.
Yeah, just testing it out.
And do you think, based on this reaction, that you're going to plan something more? Have you been hit up to do like the Z100? What's it called? The iHeartRadio?
iHeartRadio Fest. We just did an interview today, but yeah, no plans for future. This was just for fun. It's just a passion project. We'll probably do some shows in Australia and
because you moved to Australia in 2013.
Yep.
Right. The questions I have here on that is that you got sober in 2012.
Yep.
So it was pretty soon after that you moved there. Was that because as you sobered up, you realized I don't want to be in America anymore? Like what was the catalyst?
No, not really. We lived in Pasadena, and I loved Pasadena, but a little bit. Like I want to get the fuck out of America.
Right, I get it.
We decided to have kids, and we're like, let's go down there where it's free, where there's good public
it's free
schools.
to have kids, but it's not,
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Costs a bunch
The
of money
government
here.
pays for your children there.
Yeah.
Hey, they gotta go to school. Here you go.
We even got a baby bonus when we first moved down there. Yeah.
Is she Australian, your wife?
She is. I met her
Australian.
in 2005 down there. She worked for Warner Brothers. We were with Warner Brothers at the time.
Right. And you married in 2008, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right. 2 daughters, Cleopatra and Minerva. Cool names, right?
Oh, thanks.
And she's with you during your drinking and drug phase.
She was there the whole time.
She was there the whole time. You described yourself in a few interviews as, quote, a vicious alcoholic.
Yeah.
Right? So she had to probably put up with a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to...
She called the cops on me a few times.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I didn't want to bring that up directly, too, but that's fucking wild. And Jen, there is true love there. If you went through all this shit, it sees you sober. What year was your first kid born?
2014.
14.
And then 2018. Yeah. So there's 6 and 10.
Wow. And also what I like is that obviously, as you're listening to this conversation, very open about the mental issues, the drinking issue. And I think I've seen it in the past 5 years with dudes, with men, you can finally admit that things are not great. The used records are very big on that. You openly talk about that. And I think there needs to be more of that in the world where it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
A little men's club.
Yeah, you said,
True
is there one
friends.
that, would you ever end up doing that? You wanted to do that men's fucking retreat thing. Did you do it?
No, not
No?
yet. There's a men's club in Australia where they get together.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
they work-
Yeah, they go do manly things.
They do manly things.
What do they do?
They work on wood. They do metal.
They masturbate. All the very manly things.
Masturbate on a crocodile? Do they have crocodiles down there? Can you imagine that? That'd be a fun therapy.
Yeah.
We
You
had
have a pit.
We had a
alligator or a crocodile and a kangaroo.
And they're separated.
Yeah.
Like you're protected, but you can jerk off on a alligator or a crocodile. How manly would you feel? Make eye contact with me when I say it, Shannon. Come on, let's go. How weird is this? Yes, Ralphie.
I feel like you're speaking from experience with that.
It's my new business I'm going to start. I'll see my friend down under. Is this
see
going to
you
be
down
great?
there.
There was
Yeah.
a pilot back
Men's
in
club.
Men's club.
I almost
No
shot
boys
it.
allowed, Roth.
There was a time I was working with like this production company. This is when I was in my 30s, and we were shooting like pilots for different shows. And this was a show called "The Manliest Man in America."
Okay.
Right, and it was all like
I see.
perceived manly things that were timed by groups of guys. Like, how quickly can you set the timer on a VCR? You know, how quickly can you change a tire? You know, they're barbecuing something, and it was to whittle down to quote the manliest man in America.
Wow.
But it never
who won?
happened. It didn't. We never shot. We shot like a teaser reel, but it never actually.
Time to
came
bring
out.
it back.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a fun thing.
Well,
I do think now what defines
America.
manly is different now, though. That's the difference.
yes and no. We don't need to get into it, especially today that they were recording. But you're hearing two sides of different things on that. But yes,
I think so.
A man should be able to fucking cry.
Yeah.
I know tough motherfuckers who've cried. It's okay.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I'll listen to Tori Amos, Bert, and I'll have a fucking tear. And I can also throw a hand. I don't give a shit.
Wow, you really have mentioned several times in this interview about fighting. You have like some hostility in you.
Well, when a fucking idiot
got hit
almost
by a
kills
car.
you, and you have to
Yeah,
wear.
you got hit by a car.
I can't button pants right now. I mean, so you get
Wait,
a little anger.
But you're
Probably-
right-handed, right?
Yeah, you
so
probably
at
wipe
least-
your ass with your right hand, right?
yeah, well, yeah. Thank God. And
Yeah,
also,
when I got fucked up, it was my right hand. So
you
it
couldn't
was
do anything.
It was a different experience.
How long did it take before you could wipe your ass with your right hand again?
It was a while. I was in 2 different casts. It's probably like 3 or 4 months.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, what do you
Yeah.
do? It's just like
You
baseball.
learn.
You get a designated hitter.
You want to hear what's equally not manly for me? I've only broken one thing in my life, and it was my pinky toe. That's
wow.
it. Never broke anything else.
I thought you were gonna say pee-pee.
No, my
pee-pee.
Like
my
your
pee-
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, no, it was the only thing I ever broke. I don't know what it feels like to break something.
That's gnarly.
I did a finger playing basketball once. Wasn't too bad. This shoulder's come clean the fuck out.
Ugh.
But this, baby, why not? All of them in your 40s. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now I think it would take me 7 years to heal if I broke something. I'm so fucking old. I don't know.
Baby, you take
Cop
care of yourself.
cop broke my toe by slamming me down, slamming it.
Oh.
Boom.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you, when that happens, can
Yeah.
you sue the cop? That's a Jew and me coming out immediately.
I
See
was
that?
I was trying to fight him, so I don't think
Okay,
so.
then
That would
that's
be a
fine.
no.
No,
That would
doesn't
be a
count.
no.
Yeah,
I was
that'd be a
throwing
no.
fists.
That would be a no.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would be a no. Yes.
I also like there was a song that I saw with you that I think you're just a guest on by the band called Funeral Portrait.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cool song. The song's called "You're So Ugly When You Cry."
Yeah.
Speaking of crying, and so that's a fucking cool song. How did that come about?
They just hit me up. They were fans of the band. They're kind of a newer band. I think they've been around for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, they hit me up. I loved the song, and I'm like, sure, of course I'll do
Yeah,
it.
it's a fun song. If you look it up, it's a good song. So now that this run is done of the band, of the album, of Robbie the Used album, is there a plan right now, or is it go back to focus on the Used a bit and then revisit this another time?
Yeah, revisit. We have a huge year coming up. It's 25 years of the Used.
Wow.
So we're going to celebrate and do some really special things next year. So we plan. I mean, there's talk about doing Australian dates because of the family down there and whatnot. But right now, it's just going to be the Used.
When you were on the Osbournes
Yeah.
and you were dating Kelly,
Yeah.
was the Used a thing yet?
Yeah.
Were you signed yet, or you were just
Yeah, we were deep in it. We were, I think I met her in 2002, so we'd been around for 2 years already. We were playing Ozfest.
Oh wow.
Met her.
Is that so? You met her through playing Ozfest?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, hit it off right away. She's cool.
And did I think they said that the family wasn't thrilled with you dating her at that point? Is that right?
Nah, I was kind of a scumbag. Never showered, smoked cigarettes. The episode I was on was called Beauty and the Bert.
Good title, huh?
Not Beauty and the Robbie, Beauty and the Bert. His
That's
Bert
right.
side was out.
Yeah.
That's wild. Do you ever speak to them anymore in that camp?
I've run into her a few times, and yeah, we're still friends.
That's cool. That had to help the band's profile because that thing was the biggest fucking reality show on the planet.
It was at the time. I think Sharon still hates me, but that's all right.
My mom used to call it. She refused to just call it the Osbournes. I don't know. I mean, God bless my mother.
Well, you know what? In Europe, it's just Osbournes.
She called them the Ozzy Osbournes.
Oh, that's funny.
Have you watched this week's Ozzy Osbournes?
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, Ma, it's the Osbournes. Oh yeah, the Ozzy Osbournes. I'm like, I'm correcting you, and you're saying yes to it, but you're still adding the dude's first name.
You know what's wild? It's 23 years ago.
Yeah.
He was old then, and he's still on air now, doing shows now. It's wild.
Who, Ozzy?
Yeah.
Yeah, his reality show with his kids. You know,
Yeah.
he does like a spook show or something, right?
Yeah.
Jack's been on the show.
Still plays rock shows. It's pretty
Yeah,
insane.
it's pretty wild. He's got to be. I think he's in his 80s, right? He's got to be.
Ozzy?
I'm
No,
not sure.
70s.
Shannon, how old is Ozzy Osbourne? I'm going to say 81. That's my guess. I say Ozzy Osbourne is 81.
Yeah, I would say 80.
I'm going
That sounds right.
77.
Let's see. And the answer is
75.
five.
we're all wrong.
Right here, bitches. What up, baby?
All right, so we don't have all the time in the world with this man. There's this new thing we've been doing is little games with when a celebrity comes in the studio.
Wow,
Right.
I've been gone that long, huh?
Yeah, and this one's called blind ranking, which I explained a little bit out there, right? The idea is there are six items on this list, okay? All in the same list. I'll tell you the list in a second. And you have to rank them best to worst
Yeah.
based on not knowing what the next one's going to be, hence the term blind ranking.
I love it.
Spectacular, dude.
And because
I love it.
you are a rock singer in a rock band that put out a pop record,
Yeah.
these are six people that were singers in rock bands that put out pop records.
Wow. All
Okay.
right, here we go.
So we'll start with the first one, and that is from the band Genesis, Phil Collins. Can't Hurry Love, In the Air Tonight, very poppy.
Very poppy. I'm gonna have him at number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to put in Phil
Right in the middle.
Collins.
Right in the middle. He's amazing.
Okay. Number 2, from the Eagles, Don Henley, Boys of Summer, Dirty Laundry, very poppy.
6.
6. Wow, not a Don Henley.
I do like Dirty Laundry, though, Bert.
Do you?
It's
Dirty
utterly
Laundry's a great song.
ridiculous.
It's a good song.
Hit 'em on the roof, hit 'em when you're down. Fucking ridiculous.
Okay, from a rock group. It's a chick this time. The band was 10,000 Maniacs. The singer, Natalie Merchant.
Yeah. All right. Number 4.
Natalie Merchant goes into number 4.
Trouble me. That's a good song.
That is a good song.
Okay, next. From the band The Killers, Brandon Flowers. His album.
My schoolmate.
What do we
Desired
got?
Effect,
What do we
pretty
got
close.
left? 5. I'm gonna put him at 5.
Okay, let me put in Brandon
I think maybe he was raised Mormon.
Well, he's Mormon.
Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with him.
Oh, you
I
did?
worked with him.
Really?
Went to Chaparral with him. I've told you this.
Yeah.
I don't listen to you when you talk.
And their old bass player was my old bass player.
Really?
The great
Nice.
Mark Stormer.
I do forget
We
that
always call him Strummer, though.
you are a musician
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
as well as being a comedian,
Yes.
as well as being someone who seemed to really want to get in a fight.
No, but when you compare masculinity, when you're going with one spectrum and crying, you got to go fighting. What am I going to go? You know, you can be really tough. You can cry to Tori Amos and flip a cheeseburger.
Do you think
that doesn't work?
Do you believe that you need to equal it out when that happens?
Well, when you're making a contrast, I mean, yeah.
Okay, let me go
got
through. So
you.
there's 6 places on
I'll
this
fight
list.
you now, Ralph.
So far, Phil Collins is 3, Natalie Merchant is 4, Brandon Flowers is 5, Don Henley is 6. You have 2 spaces left.
Damn.
From the one of the biggest bands, I think, of the rock era, who went out and did a pop record that had songs like California Girls, the cover. We're talking about David Lee Roth, Van Halen.
God damn it. I fucked up. I only have 2 and 1 left.
1 and 2 left.
Damn it. Number 2.
Number 2, David Lee.
Crazy from the heat,
Roth.
baby.
Not
And
a
then-
fan.
Number,
Oh, my goodness.
Really?
Not a fan.
Not a fan of Van Halen or David Lee Roth solo?
David Lee Roth solo.
Oh, but you were a fan of Van Halen?
Van
or
Halen rips.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting. What
Yeah.
about Van Hagar?
Half rips.
Half
Half
rips.
rips.
Yeah.
And then the
How about
number
Van
1
Sharon? Van Sharon? No rips.
from the band The Used, we have Bert McCracken.
Shit, number 1, right where I belong.
Wow, look at this.
Yep.
Happy accidents
I
work out,
am-
don't they, baby?
I am him.
You are him.
I am him.
Congratulations. Thanks for blind ranking that. Shannon, hit the first.
That was good.
This is a real good gimmick, huh?
Time ever I saw concert did drugs had sex.
The name of the show is the SDR Show, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Show. We've asked this to every guest since the dawn of the show 10 fucking years ago. your first experience with sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We start with the rock and roll. We just mean the first concert you went to because you, Bert or Robbie at the time, I guess you were Bert at the time, wanted to go. So the band that you said, not like you were dragged to some Mormon show because your parents wanted you to go, but you're like, I want to go see blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the Osmonds. That would be the Mormon show, yeah.
Were the Osmonds Mormon?
Yeah.
Oh, I met
and they're
Marie Osmond.
They're amazing.
When I was like 8.
Yeah, Donnie Osmond. I was in a band with his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cobra Kai was a hardcore
Cobra Kai
band.
was with him?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's fun as shit.
Yeah.
Did you...
so we got to rehearse at Donnie's house and...
Did they play any Cobra Kai music on the Cobra Kai TV show? That would be cool.
I wish. Yeah.
It's one season left.
All right, so who did you see?
Got time.
I wanted to go see, I think it was the Suicide Machines with No Doubt and Weezer.
That's a good one.
That was my first rock and roll
How old were you at
experience.
that time?
I had to have been 13, 14.
So you're still Mormon,
Yeah.
but starting to see the other side.
Maybe I was 16. No, because I had to have been like 13.
Dude, by the way, again, not to be morbid, or not morbid, but depressing. You're 16, you're sleeping on friends' couches, right? Your family kind of disowned you a little bit.
A little bit.
At what point were you able to get your holding and you're like, oh, now I have a residence, I have a place where I'm feeling a little more comfortable?
It was a while. When we first started touring, we didn't live anywhere. I just stayed on tour the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably 2004 when I moved to LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now the first drug you ever did after weed, unless weed wasn't your first drug.
Cocaine.
Cocaine was it actual first, or it was right after weed?
It was after weed.
Okay, after weed. How old were you?
I was 16.
16. Well, that's a big year for you.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things happened.
Big year.
Big year.
I'm guessing that this is going to be that
When
year.
I was 16.
Wow. We know you're not a singer. Now, the first time you had sex.
Yeah, I was probably 15.
15.
Almost a trifecta.
Is that I'm assuming it's against the Mormon ways.
Of course it is.
You gotta be very
100%.
papa.
Yeah. At a friend's house, he left for a little while, allowed me to go stay in his bedroom. He knew what was going on.
He knew it was a girl you were dating?
Yeah, the girl who passed away during In Love and
Oh,
Death.
that girl.
That was the first.
The first
the
grade
first.
Wow.
First of everything.
So when you go back to that record, you have to think about that girl a lot, right?
Of course.
Wow,
yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
I do think, by the way,
Sorry.
the important thing in your life, getting so fucking deep here.
Yeah, this is worrying me about everything that's going to
When
happen later
shit
today.
happens-
You being this fucking morbid.
When shit happens, if you don't deal with it and you just bury it and pretend everything's going to be fine, it's going to resurface in some other
Always.
shape or
Yeah,
form.
it'll
So
rot you
if
from
you're
the inside
doing
out.
something like he's doing, which is therapeutically getting it out there for the world to see, is far healthier than just pretending things are fine.
Yep.
So
I
to
think
those who are
so.
going
Which
through
is
shit.
not the Guinea way.
Music.
Right.
Music saves lives. The
music.
men's
It's
club.
a universal truth. It's
Men's club.
Jerk off on a kangaroo.
Yo, dude. Well, I'd be worried about them. They could hop up and if they kick you, right?
Oh,
big
yeah,
fuckers.
they got a
Just
big
get
old
out.
claw. They'll rip your intestines.
and they got reach.
That's why when they showed that dude protecting his dog,
Punch him right in
clocking
the
it, you
face.
have to.
How
Yeah.
cool would it be if the next the used album is called "Jerk Off on a Kangaroo"?
I'm gonna be the roadie, dog.
We catch one on our camera nearly every night, just hopping around in our yard.
Oh yeah, that's pretty wild. Do you
They're
love?
they're like deer.
Where in Australia? Like what town?
I live in Sydney in a town called Glenhaven.
Okay.
I gotta go to Sydney.
I do want to go. I really do. But I got to take a month off if I'm going to go to fucking Australia.
It's far from here.
Yeah. Oh, you have to hop a little bit. That's
Yeah.
why. Like Shannon and I, which I brought so did, we ran a half marathon in Hawaii.
Right.
We stopped off in California for a little bit. It was a
Yeah.
few hours, but it helps.
Yeah.
There's no way I could fly straight to Hawaii. I
I'd
would
lose my
murder
mind.
somebody.
I always have a buffer day.
Yeah, you
So
need
I'll
it.
fly to LA, I'll stay for a day, and then I'll fly
Smart.
back home.
How far is the flight from LA to Australia?
16?
14 and
I
a
couldn't
half.
do it. What's the
I'd
next?
lose my mind.
What's the next stop? From could I go to Hawaii?
Yeah,
and
you can.
And then it's like 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's the way to
Chip
do it.
away at the stone, baby, like
Yeah.
Aerosmith said.
There
Yep.
used to be, by the way, I was going to put Steven Tyler on that list because he did put out a solo record that was
Oh, he
kind of
did?
popular.
Never heard it.
but, yeah, it's not that great though. There used to be an airline that you could buy a one-way ticket around the world,
Damn.
and you could take as many flights as you want, as long as you keep going in one direction. So you go a little bit up, a little bit down, and keep taking flights. As long as you're going in one direction, it was one price, and you could take a year to do it.
Damn.
But they don't offer that anymore. That would have been a fun thing
That
to
would
do.
have been fun.
I wish they still had the Concorde. You get there in 6
It's
hours.
coming back. You
Is
know
it?
that, right? They figured out a way to do it without a sonic boom. It's coming
Oh,
back.
there we go.
It happened within the next 2 years. It's coming back.
Oh, well, hopefully it goes to Australia.
I hope so. What's the point of it? All right, so the new album is Robbie the Used. You go to robbietheused.com. It is self-titled. The Used, the band itself, is also about to go back on a big thing for 25 years.
That's right.
You could follow him at Robbie the Used on the Instagrams.
Yeah,
I do like the artwork. Did you do it? Did you have someone do it?
My wife's sister's a graphic designer, so.
It's cool. It's also you kind of know what you're getting into. It's like a happy little fun.
Yeah, bubbly.
Bubbly little thing there.
Yeah.
It's got good energy to counter gloomy Gus over here. Holy shit.
Shitball energy.
He's singing the sad sack all the goddamn day.
Yeah, that's me, man. All right, so the song I said that I liked the most was Wake Up Call in just a little bit. Let's do Wake Up Call from Robbie. We're out to the playlist, but before we do it, anything else you want to plug?
No, happy life. Thanks for all the fans that coming out. It's been incredible.
It's fucking cool as shit. James, your plugs.
The James Madden on Instagram and YouTubes and all that shit.
Oh, wait, Shannon, before you get this, one other thing I forgot to mention. You said, and I didn't understand the fucking dynamics of how this works out, but you said the craziest thing you ever did was hanging out of a tour bus by your teeth on a comforter out a window while the bus is in motion?
So you have somebody hold onto your legs.
Oh, boy.
You get a comforter in your mouth, and then you drop out the window backwards. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
The bus is in motion.
While the bus is rolling.
From a side window?
From a backside window, yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Stupidest fucking thing. It takes a lot of booze, a lot of Xanax.
And a very trustworthy friend.
Yeah, hopefully.
And strong teeth.
Yep. Our bus driver caught us one time. He's about to kick.
Did you have a stupid name for it? Like the Toothy Drop or something dumb like that?
The Toothy Drop would be nice.
The Toothy Drop.
The Toothy Drop's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'll call it from now on.
Please do. If you do it again, there's problems. Shannon, your plugs.
You can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982 and listen to my podcast, The Thing Is Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts.
Do not indicate, don't say a word. Does Robbie the Used or Bert McCracken believe in ghosts?
What if it's a split decision?
Yeah, if that's weird. I don't think so. I think they both have an inner sensibility. But I'm going to go first because Shannon always accuses me of cheating. And I feel that there's probably been some near-death experiences. There's been some shit. So he's going to say something like, I don't believe in the idea of ghosts themselves, but there's some sort of spirituality thing, which is a yes to me. That's what I say. Shannon, what do you say?
I think that because he was able to pull himself out of such a strong addiction, that there was probably some sort of attachment to spirituality through that. And I think that carries over to maybe something existing outside of what we see.
Okay, James?
Shannon's just so goddamn good at this.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable. It's a yes. It's boring. It's just yes.
I believe in the pee-pee ghost because I'm going to piss my pants anytime right now.
I'm about to piss too.
But I would say...
Thank God we have two bad
I would say no.
Well, maybe don't drink 2 Topo fucking Cheetos before the show
You gotta
starts.
hydrate. It's a tough life. It's 75 degrees in November.
Keep my hydrated
So you
boy.
said no? We're wrong across the board?
I think it's no.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
God, I haven't gotten defeated like that since the car hit me.
All right, so I'll do this quick. Follow me over at I Am Ralph Sutton, my other podcast on health and wellness, The Good Sugar Podcast. Comes out every Monday on 3rd Avenue, 69th Street, The Good Sugar Store. The song we're going to add is Wake Up Call. Robbie, James, Shannon, everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
On the SDR Show as these guys go pee themselves. Maybe you'll also jerk off on a crocodile.
Yeah, do you think, can we get an animal in that motherfucker? We'll piss on it.
Everyone knows what's best for me.